Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I am peaking. Hold on, let me adjust my volume. Welcome once again, everybody, to Nerd Week Live here on all sorts of platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, first-person shooter on the Facebooks. Burley underscore adopter on Twitch, a couple other places. Joining me tonight, let's see, let's go from my window. We're going counterclockwise, which means the man in the headphones. Introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Byron McNeil, aka Byron D0. I am a contributing writer for Nerd Caliber. I do a bunch of other stuff that's not really relevant in 2020 right now. But I also run my own little webcomic series called Codename Blackbird. If you like social justice, representation, and badass ninja action, this is your comic. I highly recommend you check it out. The website address is www.codenameblackbird.thecomicseries.com. Got
all that? Write it down. You'll remember it better. And in my window directly below him is the bespectacled version of myself.
I just really dated myself badly there, didn't I?
Yep.
I'm glad Rodney got that anyway. Hi, everybody. Greg Snyder, a.k.a. Wonder Llama. Finally getting back into some photography. I don't know about the cosplay for a while, but I've got some interesting new photo shoots coming up. We got some content coming out I'm looking forward to. It's going to be good to get the old camera out of mothballs since it's been, the last time I think I had it out was at KatsuCon in February, which is just wrong. But we got a lot of interesting stuff on tonight. We have Dune news, which Rodney and I always go a little squee over.
A little ham on that, but awesome. And last but absolutely never least, introduce yourself if you would.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gogo Incognito. If you've been around for a little while, you will recognize me. I'm the girl with the bleach blonde hair that's very curly. And I like to make a lot of gestures when I talk. That is absolutely what I do. Anyway, I actually want to thank one of my compatriots tonight, Greg, who helped me out sincerely. Yeah, that guy with my big thing that was Dragon Con, who helped me do the virtual bunny hutch this year. And it went off without a hitch. And
it was a good time.
So great. Yeah, it was really great. And your girl got a promotion.
Hell yeah.
So you're looking at an event co-host for the Bunny Hutch. So
nice.
Excellent.
That happened. I also don't really have anything else to say, except I want to show off my shirt because I was waiting for this to come. So this is my alignment. I know it's backwards. Is it backwards? I think it's backwards.
Nope.
Oh, it's not backwards. It's backwards for me. Chaotic good.
That's the best alignment.
That's me. You hear me giggling. You see me doing this all the time. But really, that's exactly who I am. I'm Gogo Incognito, and you can follow me online on Instagram at gogo_incognito.
And do that thing, folks. So welcome to a bunch of people. Apparently everybody on YouTube, or most everybody, is from Australia. Paula, oi. Swellen, oi. Hitoshi, that doesn't sound Australian, but you never know. Oi.
More likely Brazil than Australia.
Yeah, that could be. And I'm sure there are plenty of fans of Suicide Squad. I think I got that, even though I don't speak the language.
Boa noite, tudo.
I already said, no, I didn't say Laura, oi, also. And David on Facebook Live. Where'd that window go? I got too many windows open here. That's the Twitch. Where are we? David, welcome to the show. Nobody yet chatting on Twitch, but we do have a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff we're going to just sort of zip right through as news because it is a news show, and others limited discussion, so we can get into some of the deeper discussions. Like the first news, we're going to start off in a downer, folks. Sorry about that. But, that was Fade to Black. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. The news, of course, came out just days ago that Diana Rigg, Olenna Tyrell, passed away at the age of 82 peacefully. Apparently, complications due to old age, which happens, will be happening to some of us sooner than others. That's a real bummer because she had a very interesting career that was super, super popular at the end. With Olenna Tyrell was just the sassiest, wonderful character on that show.
Absolutely.
And Emma Peel from the Avengers, the 1960s British TV show Avengers,
Yes.
at the very beginning, and it's hard to describe just how popular she was, particularly in England, but all over the world as Emma Peel at that time.
Yes. The cat suit.
The cat suit. The cat suit, the
Classic.
The high kicks.
The high kicks for me, the fencing.
She was kind of like Farrah Fawcett before there was a Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, she was that kind of like. I don't mean she was nothing like Farrah Fawcett, but I mean like that real. What do you call it? She was a sex
icon.
idol, I guess you'd say, iconically sexy, but very smart, very sassy, very take no crap from anybody.
Oh yes.
I was just, when I said that about Farrah Fawcett, I meant more like I'm sure there were a lot of pictures, college posters in dorm rooms of Emma Peel.
Oh yeah.
A la Farrah Fawcett. That's
yeah.
One thing I want to add to that, my introduction to the character of Emma Peel was through Married with Children. There was an episode where Al Bundy was watching a commercial for like the best of the Avengers, and Al was just like getting all hot and bothered with like the images of Emma Peel doing the high kick.
That would fit. Yep.
Yes.
That would fit.
So clearly anybody that's, not of a certain age or, a predilection for watching old British TV shows would know her as Olenna Tyrell from Game of Thrones. She was hands down one of the best characters and one of the best bits of casting in the middle of that series when it was absolutely stellar.
Wasn't she a Bond girl too?
Yeah.
Yes.
I joked about this quite
She
a
was
few
a Bond
times.
girl.
Like, I personally, my dream Game of Thrones spinoff would just be her and Charles Dance, who is Tywin Lannister, just the two of them in a carriage riding around Westeros doing like a buddy road comedy.
A buddy
two of
road
them
comedy.
Yeah.
sniping each other.
Cannon, dragon, run. Something like that.
Exactly.
Now, of course, it would have to be done, as a prequel. Spoiler alert for,
Super
Tywin.
spoiler alert.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say she reminded me. She's an icon. She's amazing. They're like I get what you're saying, Greg, about the Farrah Fawcett-ness because you're thinking like sex icon who like defined a generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look at her and I see that aesthetic though that was like a little like it was like. There was the Catwoman in there was the Jane Fonda, like there was this like super like kind of fit like badass babe in the 60s, and she was a Bond girl. Like that was super 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 cool. And I have to admit, like I kind of forgot about her for a little while. When I say a little while, I mean like a decade or so.
Wow.
And then when I started seeing stuff with Game of Thrones, which was my absolute literal favorite for a while, super favorite, and being like Diana Rigg, and it's like, oh, I know that name. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then she shows up and she delivers, and you're like, that's who I want to, okay. As the only, assigned female at birth person here, like cis woman, like that's who I want to be when I grow up. And as someone who has cosplayed Cersei in multiple iterations and burlesqued as Cersei, her line of "Tell Cersei it was me," like one of my absolute favorite nerd moments.
Yep.
Was a Dragon Con, maybe 3 years ago, I want to say, when I was swanning around as Cersei, and then Elena came up, and she just went like,
Shame.
Did
And
you
I'm
find
like,
somebody who had a mic so you could just go?
yeah, no, and she got me, and we got it all on film.
That's
And
amazing.
the only problem is it's a hall shot, so it's never going to be that great.
Yeah.
But it was so
It is.
correct. And I actually, with all my heart, was actually looking forward to like trying out older age makeup to cosplay her. Even though I do have my feelings about the ending of Game of Thrones, but again, still, I
Who
love it.
doesn't?
So love it. May she live on forever and ever.
So that was in. Oh my god. So I completely forgotten about this until just scrolling through IMDb on her page here. But one of the absolute best things I have ever seen that she did, she was in an episode of Extras. Did anyone ever see that? It was a British TV show.
I saw a little bit of the show.
The British TV show, Ricky Gervais playing less horrible version of Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Which isn't saying much.
It's not worth trying to explain. It's a weird, funny show, but every week they have like 2 guest stars who are the main characters in whatever the production is for the week, and he and his friend play extras, little bit characters who want to make it big. And she's in an episode with Daniel Radcliffe, who at the time was like in the height of Harry Potter, playing completely against character. And the 2 of them together were so bloody good in this show. It's almost worth seeking out just that one episode.
Awesome.
One thing
go ahead.
One thing that that crossed my mind while we were talking about Tywin and of course Diane, they have to play Tywin. Those are 2 characters I would have loved seeing playing the Master at some point in Doctor Who, especially Diane, because
Ooh.
yeah, she would have been a superb Missy.
Either one of them, yeah. All right,
Yes.
I can see that 100%. Luminous, welcome to the show.
She was in a 2013 episode of Doctor Who.
That's
I
awesome.
remember
We're
that, and I was also kind of
Wrap it up.
moving on.
moving on.
Yes. And, rest in power, Diana Rigg. I don't have anything alcoholic. I forgot. So there we go.
Get to the next one.
Get the next one. All right. Well, the reason Greg is foaming at the mouth, and the only reason I'm not, is because I don't know, better control. Anyway, what appeared on your screen there is, of course, a screenshot from the Dune trailer, which dropped finally, after months and months of seeing behind-the-scenes shots and actual stills from the production. We get to see these characters in action. And I have to say, the structure of the trailer alone, using the Reverend Mother, Gaius Helen Mohayim, pretty much accurately verbatim from the book, narrating the trailer as telling Paul's story about what has happened to him and what's going to happen to him, was perfect. It was brilliant, he says, as he is starting to drool now. And there's so much in this trailer that is so awesome. I'm going to let Greg start just gushing, and then I'll gush, and then we'll try to move on if we can.
Yeah. Well, if there's anybody on at the moment who's tuned in, obviously you know that we're big fans of Dune here. The productions, the books in particular, we've been talking about this for as long as there's been legit news about it. Seeing the full trailer I'm pretty damn excited. It looks fantastic. It kind of follows the Steven Spielberg, don't show the shark too soon. They saved the sandworm for the last scene, and holy bleeping bleep, it's bleeping bleep. It is beyond epic in its scope and amazingness. Characters look great. It's amazing to see Jason Momoa really leaning in
Yep.
in a big way. Timothy Chalamet looks like he's going to be a really solid choice for Paul Atreides. Everybody else seems like they're just slotted right in beautifully. And yeah, your point about the Reverend Mother. I mean, obviously, in a lot of ways, that the whole Gom Jabbar scene is such an iconic piece of Dune, and it kind of the boy Paul versus the not so boyish Paul afterwards. It's completely iconic. I'm psyched. This may be the only movie I see in an actual movie theater since probably the last screening I did for Nerd Caliber in February.
Yeah, like I said in my gush article on the website about the trailer, I'm not really keen on risking my life to see anything, even Dune, but boy, it's making it tough.
I guess if you got the money, you can always, if it's like the theater that's near me that lets you reserve seats.
That's true. I could just pick.
If you want to make it an outing and you want to spread it out, you can always buy the 2 or the 1 that you're in, or the 3 or the 4, and then buy the rest. I mean, that's always an option, is to buy 6 seats, even though it's still a risk. You can keep your mask on the whole time. It is still a risk. I'm just saying there are options.
There are options. I agree, Greg, with your point that saving the sandworm to the end. That was the design of the sandworm was the big reveal. We haven't seen any pictures of it. We saw pictures of the still suits. We saw pictures of the characters. Even the ships, the various suits of armor. Mm-hmm. But nobody knew what the sandworm was going to look like, and it's outstanding. I absolutely loved it, and it is closer to the description in the book than anything that's been done so far. And they're just nailing everything here.
Can't wait.
I absolutely can't wait. Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron.
So good.
I'm wondering about the choice. Now, I get it. And so my question is, I'm wondering about the choice to not give any of the Harkonnens red hair. They're bald. Or at least the 2 that you see, and the 2 that are sort of the primary characters. You see the Baron, Vladimir Harkonnen. He's bald. Stellan Skarsgård in a fantastically well-done fat suit. And then Dave Bautista as Beast Raban.
Yes.
Just looking terrifying.
Menacing.
Terrifying.
Truly menacing.
Yeah.
Unlike the goon that they got to play him in David Lynch's 1984 version, or 1981 version. But I don't know why they made that decision. I have read Villeneuve actually said that it was based on the idea that Giedi Prime is an environmentally destroyed planet. And there's never any sunlight.
Okay.
And so that's why they all look essentially like albinos. They're like cave creatures.
Cool.
Interesting.
And that to me is, I don't know how. I mean, it's a little germane, but it's not.
Right.
It's not as significant as gender swapping somebody.
Right. Like they do with Liet Kynes, although apparently they're making Liet Kynes the original Liet Kynes from the novel's daughter. From what I'm reading.
I haven't seen that.
The only reason for the red hair is that this spoiler for a book that came out in 1965. It helps verify a plot element that happens later on in the book.
Yeah, there we go.
But even taking that away doesn't matter, I don't think. All right, enough for between the 2 of us. Did anybody else watch it? Does anybody else want to weigh in on yes, no, maybe, good, bad, whatever?
I believe this. Look, y'all are the experts. I learn from you every time I do this show with y'all. I get a deeper appreciation. So, no.
I'm just going to shout out
here.
to Dyslexicon on the YouTube channel, reading to soak up the universe and the lore ahead of the movie. Good call. There is a lot of it. It's fascinating lore. If you're enjoying that, it's almost worth reading about Frank Herbert and where he was in his life and what his environmental and social thinking was at the time that led him to write this fascinating book. So if you finish the books or any of the first handful of books and you're looking for some interesting meta information, even just the wiki page on Frank Herbert is fascinating.
If I can think of, if I can find it, there's a wonderful, like a 45-minute mini documentary from one of the talented literary YouTubers about Frank Herbert and his, where he was at his time in life when this idea came to him. And it's worth looking up. It's worth trying to. It's not Lindsay Ellis, but it's another pretty well-known literary / movie YouTuber.
Nice.
Anyway, that's it, folks. If you're at all a fan of Dune, go watch it. If you are as much of a fan of Dune as Greg and I are, go watch it because, aside from minor little changes like the lack of red hair, they nail everything, at least in this trailer, so well.
Yep.
So much better than either the movie or the 2000 miniseries. It's wonderful.
It looks beautiful and it looks suitably epic.
And I'm really dying to see how they describe or work the weirding way of fighting. It's definitely not going to be, some sonic module garbage thing like David Lynch did in the movie. But anyway.
Check back here after New Year's.
Exactly.
Fingers crossed.
All right, moving on to a much, much less wonderful subject. And this will be a quick discussion because it's more of just an update. But that's, of course, everybody's favorite Scottish turf, J.K. Rowling. And there's the latest. She's got a new book coming out. It's part of the series of mystery novels that she published under a pseudonym. And this is the 5th in that series. And guess what? The main character is a cis male that kills people while dressed up as a woman.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she just won't stop.
Now, I read, Rodney, I also read, and I don't actually know because I didn't actually want to give too many clickies, except for the one that you put up saying it's horrible. But there was one that I saw that said this actually hasn't been published yet.
That's correct.
It's just all hype. And so that means if we get behind the anti-hype, but anyway, I don't know, okay. She is trying to write her, it's not like to say fantasy would be giving it too happy a thing. She's trying to write her justification, one small part of her justification for her anti-transness and her turfiness. And
I don't know that I would go that far. I don't know. So I don't think that we can ascribe a motive to why she's doing this other than this is something that she thinks is an appropriate topic at this point to have a character that is a horrible psychopath that as part of their psychopathy dresses up as a woman to kill people. I don't see that as in any way sort of overtly
so original.
Well, one, yeah, it's been done to death, but I don't see it as any way overtly making a statement about her trans policies, trans issues. I mean, it may be informed by that, and that may be why she thinks it's okay to do this. I'm guessing that's absolutely the case.
I will say I think it's definitely informed by that. If we go into her past history of liking stuff and retweeting stuff and doing all these things of men can say they're trans and they'll come into women's bathrooms if they put on a dress.
Yeah. So, all right. So just a second. We've dived into her overall policies, idiocy, the stupidity of trans fear, and so on. I don't want to rehash that. This is really just kind of an update of, yes, J.K. Rowling is still an ignorant fool. So let's put it on the table that we all stand with the idea that her policy on trans people is idiotic.
It's wrong.
And wrong.
I will say this much. She's definitely using her platform as a soapbox, which is something that a lot of creators do.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that to her defense. It's just I'm not the least bit surprised that she would do such a thing.
Yep.
Because she's, with all the news that's come out, she's doubled down, and this is just her continuing to dig.
Yep. So I poured a very delightful product of Scotland for a quick toast to something good and delightful coming out of Scotland these days, not named J.K. Rowling.
I've got 5 bottles of exactly something like that. Not that good, mind you, but still a 12-year-old.
Greg, can we toast to that, like, Ewan McGregor, like, Obi-Wan show that was supposed to be coming?
Oh, we're going to bookend with that. Sort of. There we go. Well played.
Well played. We call that a delay segue. Because it'll happen. It'll happen, folks. But
give it time.
Give it time. Dyslexicon, real talk. I've been wanting to read it, Dune, since 6th grade, but Dune stuff was always the book getting snatched off the shelves in the school library by other students.
Cool.
Good taste, those other students of yours, and you really should read it. At this point, it's up to you. Read the book before the movie or don't. I would say at this point, watch the movie and then go back and read the book and see, because there's no way they can get that deep. It just can't be done, even in a 2-part movie, which is what they're going to do. It just, 4 hours is not enough, or 6 hours, or whatever. But anyway, moving on to our next topic. That is a screenshot or an animation cell from The Secret of NIMH. I chose that to illustrate the story about Don Bluth, the animator, producer, studio head that Don Bluth Movies or Productions or whatever he called it at that time, did his most popular movie, I believe, was Secret of NIMH. And the news is that he's going to start another animation studio that is, I think the quote was, create a renaissance in hand-drawn animation.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose this instead of a picture of Don Bluth because he's just an old skinny old white guy with white hair. I mean, it's like that all over it. So,
office rocker.
Yeah. So, is he beating a dead horse here?
I think he kind of might be, actually, because he, like, if you track his career up until the late '90s, the quality kind of went downhill with not so much with the animation, but with the storytelling abilities that he had.
I mean, The Land Before Time, 473, yet another leaf gets eaten.
Mm-hmm. And then or Troll in Central Park.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
I'll give him.
Come to his defense, Greg.
I'll give him credit. There's, like anybody, it's what does a studio give you a green light on? Some ideas are going to be better than others. Secrets of NIMH was amazing. Fox and Hounds was decent. All Dogs Go to Heaven was.
So Fox and Hound was him working at Disney.
Disney, yes.
Yes. So a lot of this is Disney stuff.
Okay.
I'm personally a huge fan of Titan AE. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you that.
It was definitely ambitious.
What do you call it? It's formulaic in a lot of ways. It's not blazingly original, but it's really enjoyable, and it's a really well done animated sci-fi movie with some great voice acting and some great animation. And I love the idea. No idea what the output will be, but I love the idea of somebody who's got the passion for hand-drawn animation to the point where he's going to go out and try and make a studio and do all of the stuff around that with money and personnel and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, who knows? He could turn out The Land Before Time '97. Who knows?
That's actually done by him.
But if it's hand drawn animation, I'm here to, I'll give him a look.
I concur that. I will do the same. I will give it a look. I used to collect hand-drawn cells. I still have them.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, I actually don't even have them up because my house is mostly windows, so they're all in frames, like in a dark place right now because I care that much. But the point is, this is a rare thing. You can say it's the ramblings of a yesteryear person, but you know
You
what?
could.
You know what? Listen, I mean, the whole thing is right now, like if we just talk about aesthetic, like, okay, let's see how that goes, right? Let's see how that hand-drawn animation goes. But of course, you have to have story to back it up. Fox and the Hound, sure. All Dogs Go to Heaven, there. Land Before Time,
Yes.
The first one.
Yeah, but you gotta.
Hey guys, we're neglecting one of his most prolific works, An American Tale.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
I mean, I can't watch that movie. I can't watch that movie without a tissue box.
Yep.
Just saying.
And didn't Bluth also do Anastasia?
Yes, he did.
All right. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, he produces, and just let's backtrack. He's not the writer of all of this stuff. He's the studio producer and head animator in some cases. Certainly,
Yes.
Fox and the Hound head animator.
Yeah.
So
the big thing that is driving this is the fact that we've talked about this
Also, Ferngully.
quite a few weeks ago. He is driving the TV adaptation for Netflix of Dragon's Lair, which was one of the most iconic 80s video games. So he's behind that, and I think that Netflix giving him a platform is probably what's behind this. Excuse me. Probably what's behind this.
Now, I think I recall this. Bluth Studios did the animation for the game initially anyway.
Yes.
That's why it looks like a Don Bluth production.
Because it's Don Bluth.
Right.
Yes, it is.
So I think it's great if he can pull off this and it becomes one more outstanding animation tool that gets added to the stuff that I can't remember the name of the studio, Kubo and the Two Strings.
Leica.
Yeah, Leica. They've got their own format with paper and stop motion and so on, and that's brilliant and that's wonderful. And you've got Pixar with CG. You've got all of these different. If there's room in the world for hand-drawn animation, and it's done in a way that it engages audiences as well as all of these other styles do now, absolutely. Creating something just so that you can have a renaissance of something that you were pretty good at 20 years ago, that is a dead business model.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. But before we move on to the next topic, I've been kind of sleeping on all you folks over in Facebook chat. I somehow didn't scroll down far enough. Castro, welcome to the show. And yes, we are all nerds, just like you are, Castro.
Pot, ghetto.
Exactly. Ben, welcome to the show. Utsav, welcome to the show. And yes, J.K. Rowling would be a hit with the Nazis. Put that knife right in there. Not that it's an inaccurate shot.
At all.
All right. So having said that, now it's time to move on to our next topic. And that is, speaking of animation, so we had a couple of interesting things coming out of Ubisoft, the Ubisoft Forward event. Who was that? Why is my sound... Anyway, that was coming from somebody. The two interesting things are the fact that they are basically re-releasing or remaking two of their big hit games, and none of the interesting things were, this is how we're going to completely correct the fact that we've been hiding sexual abusers for decades. Probably the biggest one is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Game came out, was out for like 2 years, and then in 2013 it went off the market. Just, you couldn't get it. Just not available. I guess you could pirate it somewhere. But as you see on the
Support
screen,
that, though.
it's coming back in a complete edition, they're calling it, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. And it looks like there might be some updates to the graphics. They have added characters. They're saying that Knives Chow is in the game, and Knives Chow was not in the game because it was
No, she was, but she was an add-on character though.
She was an add-on character. Okay. And I think Wallace is also new to the game.
Plays Wallace.
Cool.
But other than that, it's pretty much the same game, which was super fun. It's really Scott Pilgrim. I mean, it captures the feel of that. And if you've never heard any of the music by Anamanaguchi, these guys
get your life correct.
Oh, these kids back in 2013, they were kids, or 2012, can shred like Joe Satriani while keying that into the chip tunes that they programmed into a pair of Super NESs. It's mind-blowing what these kids can do. But listen to the soundtrack for sure. Play the game if you want to.
As the kids say, that soundtrack slaps.
It slaps.
Is that what they say right now?
I'm not sure that the kids say that right now, but I guess okay. We'll go with that. The other thing, God, I faded to black again. There we go. The other thing was they announced a remake of Prince of Persia. That just popped up on your screen, specifically Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Wow.
Yeah, Batman.
At that game, I wanted to be so good. I'm so bad at platforming games.
Oh yeah.
I think I had Dyslexicon, who's in the chat with us. I think I had them with me, being like, "Why am I dying? Why am I dying?" And they're like, "Just jump." And I was like,
it's
I as well.
I have no room to talk. I wasn't very good at some of the platforming sections either.
Yep, that's not my strength. I'm a first-person shooter guy, but I did love some games like that, even before the Hexen and those sort of things.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
To be good at Persia, Dyslexicon. Do you remember? Oh, hard times.
I gotta say, I'm really loving the model design that they have for Farah.
For everybody, I think that the updates look really good, while keeping very close to the overall character design. He's just like Farah, just to give me Farah. That's it. I just want Farah. Get the drool cup ready.
I follow Edgar Wright on Twitter, and it was really cool to watch a couple weeks ago, the 10th anniversary of Principal Filming in the Toronto area. Because he just had all these great little candids and, all of the actors and,
wait a minute. We're back on Scott. Okay, well, I guess we're still on Scott Pilgrim.
Sure, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, it's just, if you're a fan of the movie, and I don't know who isn't really, frankly, it was cool to see. His Twitter feed was chock full of really cool outtakes and behind-the-scenes candids and stuff.
My brother-in-law, or my brother and my sister-in-law, are definitely not fans. I screened it for them, and they went, "Why?" So
it's not everybody's cup of tea. Like when I first saw it, I wasn't crazy about it, but it's definitely grown on me more because I understand a lot more of the nuances of the story from all the other media incarnations of it.
Yeah, and I guess they didn't get what I was trying to pass off to them, is that this is one of the best, most honest love stories ever made. It really completely told in the language of video games and music. Mm-hmm. And if you don't love video games and music, it's like somebody who...
Not going to make sense.
Yeah, it's like somebody who hates fantasy stories and then saying, okay, here's the Princess Bride. Doesn't matter how good the love story is, they're just going to go, oh, just idiots walking around with swords.
But their kiss blew all the others away.
That's true.
Yes.
Come on, those people who think those things.
Yes, fie on you.
Yeah. Edgar Wright at one of his all-time greats.
Yes, absolutely true.
if I can add one more thing on the discussion of
Yep.
Ubisoft, they also there was also like a little tidbit about the game that formerly known as Gods and Monsters called, I believe, Immortal Phoenix Rising.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it looks amazing.
Breath of the Kratos.
Yeah, I was just about to say the creators of the game have unapologetically admitted that it is a ripoff of Breath of the Wild. But I'm loving a lot of the elements that they're adding that aren't necessarily that are improving upon the formula established by Breath of the Wild, like no breaking weapons.
Yep.
Those weapons.
Utsav on Facebook looks terrible. This is Prince of Persia, I assume. Looks like a PS3 game. Well, yeah. I mean, they didn't redo everything to turn it into a next-gen console game.
It's probably gonna be a budget title.
Yeah, they just updated the skins, essentially, with some greater detail and newer designs. They've added some elements, so they had to essentially redo the whole game. Oh, by the way, I can't remember his name. The guy who did the original voice in the first game is back, not only doing the voice, but they're motion capturing all of the characters. So he is doing the voice, acting it on a soundstage with one of those motion capture rigs where you've got a camera sticking out back at your eyeballs. I can't imagine acting against that. But anyway, so yeah, Ubisoft. Don't know what you were thinking. I mean, it's interesting, but tell us about new games other than Breath of the Kratos, and get your stuff fixed, man, and be honest about it. Anyway, moving on to our next topic. That is the amazing and wonderful Belshare as the amazing and wonderful She-Hulk, taken 5 years ago at DragonCon. And the news is that She-Hulk may, I had to reread this because I thought it was a definite, but it's not, may have a director for the upcoming Disney Plus series that's in the works. The person that they have picked, and I've got to get this name right, where are we? Kat Coiro. Nobody knows who this person is. Her first movie is coming out in Valentine's Day 2021. It's called Marry Me. Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Sarah Silverman. Who knows? But what this person's background is she has been a director on various TV shows that include Dead to Me on Netflix, Shameless on Showtime, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Modern Family, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Mozart in the Jungle.
All right.
And the head writer for this series is Rick and Morty writer Jessica Gao. So are we gonna get? Why did I hit fade to black again? Didn't I? Dang it! This was never an option in the previous version of OBS. Darn you, OBS. Anyway, are we gonna get like just the craziest, wildest She-Hulk series? It's Disney Plus. Of course, we're not going to.
Please.
But
thank you, Byron. I keep pointing down to where you are on my screen, but I don't know if that's show. But I was about to say the same thing, which is please. I really, really, really enjoyed the Harley show that was on HBO Max. I want to see it come back. Harley plays all the characters so good. So if they add a little bit of wildness and joie de vivre to She-Hulk, I'd love to see that. I'd be so down for that. I also kind of think maybe the character could really use that. Like, we have so much serious stuff right now, and this is like, anyway. I don't know this director, but she has some chops.
Yep.
So I'll wait till you're done. One thing that I'm really hoping for is that they don't, like Gogo said, don't play it straight. Like, anyone who is reasonably familiar with the lore of She-Hulk knows that she was basically Deadpool before Deadpool became the Deadpool that we know today. Like, we had fourth wall breaking. We had all kinds of wacky shenanigans. One of my favorite, like, more modern nods to the past of She-Hulk was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where her victory line to Deadpool was like, if this was the '90s, it would have been me beating you over the head with my power bar.
Yeah, so, Jessica is not a serious character. Never has been.
Jennifer, you mean?
Jennifer, I'm sorry. Jessica Walters is an actress. Yeah, that would be
totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah. I do got to say that I'm so excited for the casting, whoever they cast as She-Hulk, because she's one of my top tier Marvel waifus.
Just a second, guys. Is anybody typing like nonstop? Is anybody tapping a desk?
Oh, that might be my thing. I will mute myself.
Well, don't mute yourself because you need to talk. But
yes.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some sort of tapping or something going on.
Yes, that's coming from downstairs. My neighbors are being very noisy.
Sorry, never mind. We'll just work past it then. Dyslexicon in the chat on the YouTube's talking about Donkey Kong Country and what a challenge that platformer was. Luminous She-Hulk, I hope Disney does not make it too bland. I really like to think that with those people chosen, I don't know how they could. But hey, any studio can screw up anything.
You take a Rick and Morty writer, and let's just say they just come in at like 150, and you tone them down to 75. You're still gonna get something fun and irreverent, okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, may bring some new people into this character, who's an amazing character. Who
indeed.
I'm just thrilled all this is happening. I'm just happy about it completely.
I'm hoping for Mark Ruffalo cameos.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the nice things. We know Disney Plus is completely integrated into the MCU with these series, so anything like that could happen.
Because Ike Kilfitter is not going to be involved.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Luminous makes a good point, and everything we talked about. This has the potential to be a great, zany, off-the-wall, bananas kind of show, but because it's Marvel, Disney, it's got to slot in perfectly. It could get homogenized, which would be unfortunate.
Yep.
I agree with Greg.
Yeah,
I would have actually loved to have seen more like badass babe heroes more on like HBO Max. Like I would have loved to have seen that continuation of that like Harley, Poison Ivy, Josh. Like I'd like to see that, but of course I'm going to tune in for this and I'm going to watch it. I just,
Yeah, just because if it's not the foul-mouthed, hilarious, gory, violent, funny Harley Quinn series, it doesn't have to be. Mandalorian is fantastic with relatively toned-down levels of violence and and so on. The last episode of season 1 with the punching Baby Yoda stuff was a little on edge, but anyway.
For that.
Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis, you have a lot to account for.
Yes, you do.
But it was funny, and kudos to Disney for leaving that stuff in. Anyway, team members, if you need to get a drink or take a sip of water, so these next 2 topics are basically just going to be news dumps. So relax. Wonder Woman. That is, of course, an image from the upcoming Wonder Woman movie of her successfully deflecting any attempt to get a premiere date. As it turns out, she has one, and guess what? It's not 3 weeks from now on October 2nd. It is now Christmas. December 25th is allegedly now, officially allegedly, I got to throw this in. Luminous, everything might seem bland after watching The Boys. Good point.
Yes, absolutely.
It's Christmas. December 25th is going to be the premiere date. Good luck. It's been pushed back so many times. Who knows when it will actually land? But, this seems to be the one they're committing to. So we might have, Dune at the beginning of the month and or the middle of the month, and then Wonder Woman 1984 at the end. So fingers crossed that they get to pull this damn thing off. And the next piece of news, also in the DC overall universe. So they made an announcement about the upcoming season 3 of Young Justice, and literally what you're looking at is it. That's it, folks. It's going to be called Phantoms. That's what the title card will look like. That's it. We don't know anything else about it.
Boom, there we go.
Boom. We don't know when they're going to drop it. We don't know when they're going to start it. We don't know what the storyline is, who the Phantoms are, what it's referring to.
I'm secretly hoping, no pun intended, that it will be a storyline involving Secret.
Well, looking at it and the color scheme, Phantom Stranger, maybe, but that's the only thing I can take out of this, because you've got the green and white. It has the name Phantoms, and that's it. But the release literally has nothing other than, hi, it's going to be called Phantoms, and here's the title card. Thanks a lot. All right, now we're moving back into some more discussion stuff, but we're sticking with DC because they dropped a lot of interesting things. Marvel too. That is, of course, the wonderful, wonderful characters in the now HBO Max, formerly DCU, Doom Patrol series. And the news is we definitely have a commitment to Season 3. It will be on HBO Max. This news apparently came out of Fandom, but we missed it somehow. 2021 is when it's coming. We don't know when in 2021, but that would kind of imply that they're really close to starting production. There's a lot of special effects in this for a TV series, and there's a lot of makeup stuff, and I would assume they'd have to start production pretty soon to have it drop anytime in 2021, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But Doom Patrol, folks. So Lewis isn't here tonight, but Lewis makes this great point that when it comes to gay, lesbian, LGBTIQ representation, this show has almost no peer in nerddom. And it's still being slept on by a lot of people, not the least of which is myself. I never got into season 2. Season 1 was amazing. And why? What's
just I have such a huge back catalog of stuff. I just finished Cobra Kai, so.
I actually started watching it, and I think I need to do it another time. Like, maybe I was watching with my husband, and he really wanted it to be perfect, and we got through some slow parts, and he was like, I'm bored, let's watch something else. And I was like, that's fine, I'm not hooked either, but I think maybe if I watch it on my own, I can get through those humps, because I know he wanted something from it.
Yeah.
That whatever it was not giving it. The same way with me and The Boys, which is gonna be talked about later.
Mm.
But I am an always and forever Brendan Fraser fan. So it's on there with my to come back to, which I shall.
So the first season, the weirdness starts right out of the gate without you getting a sense of what ties all the weirdness together, and that's a problem with season 1. I'll give anybody who has a problem getting all the way through season 1 that as a given. It does, as the season rolls on, start, I'm not sure if making sense is the right word, start congealing in a really interesting way.
That might have been a thing of watching it and being like, what are we watching? Where is it going?
Yeah.
It was last time we kind of had that feeling was when we were watching Legion.
That's an excellent example. I think the difference is that Legion is so brilliantly weird that you kind of keep watching just because you want to see where the weirdness goes.
Yeah. We really had to make it past all that bit of Legion to be okay, we're committed. And I feel in this point in time, we're just in you got to sell it to us a lot faster. And I think that's just how it is right now with things.
Yeah, between that and the fact that it is on DCU, and DCU is, it has its gems like Harley Quinn. But it's not and never was the best platform to put something on. And now that it's officially on HBO Max, that might solve the problem too.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on to our next topic. This, I gotta say, I'm really excited about this, although I have... So, let's start. That is Jonathan Majors. He is just killing it right now in HBO's Lovecraft Country. The news is he's been signed by the MCU to have a major role in the upcoming Ant-Man 3, opposite Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly. The rumors out there is that he is going to play Kang the Conqueror. And if anybody doesn't know who Kang the Conqueror is, that is also from 2015 Dragon Con. Kang is the one with the blue face and the purple and green. And with Kang is a gender-bent version of Immortus, who is also Kang. It's time travel. Don't worry about it. There's actually a third one. Anyway.
All you need to know is that Kang is one bad mofo who the Avengers have had their butt handed to many, many times.
Right. Kang is from the very, very far future of the MCU.
Oh my god, that photo's hilarious.
Yeah, isn't that great? From the very far future of the MCU, has technology that makes stuff that Tony Stark looks like Stone Age tools, and is a ruthless conqueror. And he's
also, his fighting skills are also incomparable as well.
Oh yeah, superb fighting skills, superb technology, complete control of time and gravity and everything. It's just like, how do you stop him? And it would be wonderful if that's where they're going with this. I mean, geez.
Please, okay, I'm gonna jump in right now because I'm like a giant Ant-Man fan, and I know that may be a weird thing in this.
I see what you did there.
Oh, giant Ant-Man fan.
I always make sense.
So you're a giant Ant-Man fan.
I'm a giant Ant-Man fan.
Are you a fan of giant Ant-Man?
I really like that they are, that they're doing it's kind of like a little bit on the outskirts of all the Marvel stuff. It's kind of like the little, I don't want to say bastard stepson. It's not that, but
Right.
it's not there. And people are like, "Oh, you like that?" I'm like, "I do. I actually really do. I actually always have." So the last time the villain was kind of meh, it was kind of nebulous.
Oh,
I mean,
awful.
yeah, and it was like I was like, okay, this is literally this whole thing that I've been waiting for and I've been so looking forward to is completely getting by on the personality of the actors. This is literally what's taking it. But come on, I'm gonna watch this movie again and again and again and again. So this time, please give these heroes whom I love, please give them a real villain. So
yes.
I say and this dude, again, if you are up for it, Lovecraft Country. But I mean, you got to be up for it. You got to be up.
Yeah, you really do.
You're ready to get scared.
It gets heavy.
It does. It is not literally you got to be ready. But
it's also a little on the political side.
Yeah, but we've got this
little
actor, and we've got this baddie, and again, okay, I know everybody's gonna be well, time travel, but I mean, they already kind of put it. I mean, I don't know. Just I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Ever since they said there's gonna be an Ant-Man 3, I was like, yes, I may be the only one. I don't care.
I love the Ant-Man. I love the Ant-Man movies on their own. Like Gogo said, they're great character. They're great character movies. Paul Rudd, as I've said many times, is better when he's got people to work off of. He's not leading man material in my opinion.
No, he's absolutely one of my favorite. What do you call it? Ensemble actors.
Yes.
Yep.
completely fantastic.
Yes.
Again,
So I'm with you on that one too, and I've said that on this show quite a few times when Ant-Man's come up.
yeah,
I personally loved it in large part because of Paul Rudd, in large part because it's fun and funny and it's not trying too hard,
Yes.
and
He
very
plays with
much
strength.
because mostly in the first one, Yellow Jacket's a believable villain. It's a corporate bad guy who's trying to steal technology to get rich. That's the gold age of all comic books. Is
Right
the
on.
Lex Luthor type character. It's not Galactus.
Mm.
It's not Darkseid. It's not creature. It's not Thanos. It's not creatures that can go, the entire universe is wiped out. That
My
kind
own.
of bores the crap out of me. Like,
Yes.
give me a greedy ass corporate guy. I find that believable.
My only problem with Ant-Man and the Wasp was they wasted a perfectly good villain in Ghost. Ghost is such a fascinating mercenary type character, right up there with Taskmaster, as far as just like, I'm just doing the job.
So they wasted a perfectly good villain, and then they wasted a perfectly good actor as a secondary knockoff Iron Man 2. Anyway, a knockoff secondary...
Mickey Rourke.
Not Mickey Rourke, the Sam Rockwell's character.
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
Walton Goggins is a godsend of an actor, and he was a second-rate Justin Hammer who was a second-rate villain in his own movie. It was just between that and like you said, the complete waste of the Ghost character.
Oh my gosh. I've still watched it a bazillion times, not as much as I've watched the first one though. But again, I still love them because sometimes you just need that kind of thing. It's the same reason why I watch the the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, again and again.
I think another big selling point of the first one in particular is that even though he left before the movie was made, Edgar Wright's fingerprints are definitely all over the first movie.
Yes.
And we could certainly, talk about what an incredible movie it would have been if he'd made that. That's another show. But I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up for Jonathan Majors being cast in this. I wasn't familiar with him at all, but I've been watching Lovecraft Country. He's charismatic. He's got a great presence on screen. I think he can carry something like that. I mean, Lovecraft Country is very much an ensemble. Everyone has their different episodes. It's a little bit sort of episodic. So different episodes, there's a different character who's kind of the lead for that episode.
He's also very well spoken too.
Yeah,
that's which is important for Kang the Conqueror's character, because he is definitely one of the smartest villains in the Marvel universe. And you can't be that imposing and being like a dum.
You got to be able to chew that scenery, Byron. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, you got to, because Kang likes the monologue.
Yes.
And let's be honest.
My God.
He is not hard on the eyes, especially when his shirt isn't on.
I mean, I wasn't going to cheapen any content here that we were putting up and say that.
I mean, the boy's a snack.
Yeah, the boy's a snack.
Brought him back up on the screen there so you can all appreciate his snackness. The one thing that I'm wondering about is if they are going to be introducing Kang as potentially the big bad guy for Phase 4. And it makes sense because he is a huge cross-title villain, not just the Avengers, but Fantastic Four and pretty much everybody in the Marvel cinema or the Marvel comic book universe has had a run-in with Kang before, or been part of the massive team that had to come together to finally defeat him. Introducing that character in Ant-Man 3 strikes me as one, possibly getting out of the sense of, hey, this is a fun show or a fun series of movies with relatable villains, blah, 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 and into, here's this, enormous Thanos level threat. It just happens to be threatening all of time instead of all of space. But if that is the case, where do they take him from there? How do they properly convey his threat in a movie that hasn't, or a series of movies that hasn't been about anything bigger than the threat to the health and wealth, corporate, financial well-being of the main characters?
I would say that there is definitely a good amount of potential for greater reverberations in the MCU, because one thing that Kang's character likes to do is punish people who try to manipulate the timeline to their whims when he's trying to do that himself. It's like,
that's true.
Yes, it's like your meddling is getting in the way of my meddling, and I can't have that.
But I guess so. I think you're kind of arguing my point. I think he is set up to be a massive villain, potentially massive villain across the next phase of the entire MCU. Aside from the fact that Ant-Man is where the sort of time travel key starts for the whole series,
the quantum realm,
right? With the quantum realm,
yes.
The tone of the movies are completely not in keeping with, hey, let's have some guy come for the future, literally to beat you down for screwing with the timeline.
No, correct. It'd be like if Guardians would stop with the soundtracks and get like super serious, and all of a sudden like Quill was like a responsible human being who like thought about his actions before he acted with his thing.
Yes.
These are brands that are being franchises that are being established. I don't want to say brands, but this is the energy that they're putting out, and you love it or you hate it or you feel some way about it. So, Rodney, I don't know. Basically, what you're saying is this villain may be bigger and badder and deeper than what we've seen before with Ant-Man. So the challenge is, how do they handle him?
Exactly.
And if they make him sort of fluffy, do we take him seriously if he goes on to the next bit and he keeps bouncing to the different Marvel universe?
Here's my thought though. What if it's not Scott that he goes after, but instead he goes after Hank?
Well, yeah,
the founder of the Pym particles.
But that's plot. I'm talking tone. And Gogo gets what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you make him an Ant-Man level villain, and
it's going to be fun times.
It's fun times, and you make Orange Julius jokes about him or something. I don't know. You make you make the Blueberry Girl from
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka jokes about his face or something. When exactly. When he needs to be the thing that ends the 10-movie cycle of Phase 4 and 5 or whatever it is, or 6, is he going to be tough enough? Is he going to be menacing enough if his first introduction is,
Ant-Man
level?
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Like, you get it. Like, it's part of, honestly, the Marvel superhero it's Marvel superhero, it's MCU, but it's comedy. So
there are so many ways they could make it work, though. I think, like, maybe have him as a civilian who is caught up in the absurdity of this world, and then he reveals himself as Kang the Conqueror in the end.
You are so focused on plot, man.
I know. This is just my
you're writing some fan fiction right now, and I
exactly.
don't know
Write
my
that fan
headcanon
fiction.
is ridiculous. My headcanon could go on for days.
Yeah, no. I think what Rodney's saying is this the big new villain? And if they introduce him into the comedic thing, how does that go from there? So, I mean, I guess I would say maybe he's not the next big new villain. He's just the villain that they're putting forth right now. I don't know.
That would be a waste, though, don't you think?
I could also see. I mean, the second Ant-Man was definitely a little less slapstick, a little less comedic in areas. I could conceive of the third one continuing down that sort of, away from the style, the tone of the first one, and getting a little bit more serious, especially post Endgame.
Yeah, true.
Sure.
Yeah.
They still have their tone they have to keep up if people like me are going to be like super excited about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Talked about that a lot.
Tune back later.
Come back later. Moving
Yes.
on to our next topic, our penultimate topic. So that is, in fact, not Andrew Lincoln or Norman Reedus. I can't remember the Daryl, but that is Cecil Grimes, one of the most famous, Rick Grimes cosplayers. This was taken at Fan Expo Boston 2017, where he was a cosplay guest. And boy, does he look like Andrew Lincoln. But the news is about, in fact, The Walking Dead, and after 11 seasons, coming up in 2022, the 11th season, and it's going to be a big season, is it. Show's ending. They're finally wrapping it all up. The comic book, has come to a close, I believe.
Yeah, it has.
And so the series is coming to a close, mostly, maybe, with one possible exception. Apparently, it is in talks that they're working on a Daryl and Carol spinoff that would continue their story after the main story ends. I would watch that so much more than... Well, I haven't watched an episode of The Walking Dead in probably 2 years.
More for me, too.
Yeah. So, is it a nail in a coffin that has started to fall apart because it's been waiting for that last nail too long?
No.
No? No? Are you still a Walking Dead fan, Gogo?
I still am.
Someone has to be.
Comics religiously for years and years and years. I didn't like Negan, so I took him with a grain of salt until I didn't like him, and then I skipped through, and then I went back and I read. So anyway, and again, I did the same thing with watching. I watched and I rewatched and I rewatched and I rewatched and I rewatched. And so I'm totally here for it. I will continue to love, and it will bring me back, and I am completely into it. I guess, like, again, it's a personal thing. It's like, how did you feel about The Walking Dead, and what are the characters you wanted to continue? And
so, are you keen on the idea of a Daryl and Carol spinoff? You want to watch them open a flower shop?
I'll watch them open up
Or a cookie shop.
Or a cookie shop?
No, I don't like cookies. Hot dog shop, I'm here for that. No, I'd be into that. I did tune out because of all the bads that we've had, and of course we had a lot more in the comic series that never got brought to light. In the show, there's a bunch that I kept waiting for, being like, how are they going to introduce this? They never did. I was also that weird person that really liked the prison arc when everyone else hated it. So I know I have my own I have my own opinions, but I am one of the odd people that just didn't like Negan. I'm sorry, I just didn't like him.
Yeah,
So
I hate the character, which you're supposed to anyway. But I also think it was a poorly played use of a character that you were supposed to hate. Not by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I mean, by the writing, the way he was.
Oh yeah, no, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, good guy, good actor. Didn't like what he was given. Again, also knew it was coming for a while.
Well, yeah, as a comic book reader.
Because as the comic book reader, so it was just like, okay, peace out. And then was just like, I'm just gonna wait and see how this goes. And with the various exodus that the cast had, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna remember the good times. I have the comics, I have the show, I can go back. So if Daryl and, oh my gosh, Carol, I love that. I'm sorry. Daryl and Carol. I have literally carved that into a tree.
Nice. Lover Hearts, hello, welcome to the show. Luminous, where's Carl? No Luminous, it's Coral.
Coral.
Where's Coral?
Coral.
You're being selfish, Coral. Shellfish.
Shellfish, Coral. All right, so Greg, anything on this? Were you a Walking Dead fan?
I've literally never watched a single moment of the show.
All right, there we go.
Can you
I
also
couldn't
be
get
friends
past the
with
first
me? Am I
season.
out of the club? I think I'm out of the
No,
club.
because like I said, I never watched the. Oh no, that's not true. I did watch the end of the Negan arc, but only because I needed to see that it ended. But other than that, I haven't watched the series in 2 years, and I don't regret its passing. It was outstanding.
It was absolutely time.
Yeah, it's time to go. Speaking of time to go, it's time for us to get on to our last topic because we're running long.
Yep.
And the last topic is that trailer. Speaking of trailers, Mandalorian Season 2 trailer just dropped earlier today.
Time to gush.
Time to gush. It's gorgeous. It's fantastic. You do get to see, even though they still haven't confirmed it, you get to see Ahsoka Tano, and it is clearly Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
No question. So they've confirmed it visually, even if they're still not, for some stupid reason, confirming it in any press release or anything.
That's so weird, because wasn't that like a thing we talked about like 6 months ago?
Oh yeah, no,
Yep.
it's essentially the dumbest secret, and I don't know why. I don't think they're keeping it secret. There's something about why they haven't confirmed it, and it may be something that they're doing with the character. I don't know, but it's just not been officially confirmed that I've seen. As of last week, or 2 weeks ago when we talked about this last, that Rosario Dawson is playing this character. But again, for the 3 seconds you get to see the character on screen, there's no question it's her.
Still wish they had cast Ashley Ball, but that's just me.
Wasn't it Eckstein?
Oh yeah, Ashley Ball is her maiden name.
Okay. Yeah, and you're not alone. Best thing about this is they still have the humor. The scene where Baby Yoda is now aware enough that when the shit's about to go down, he closes his own little cocoon.
I love that moment. It's just
Yes.
like looking, and he's like, "Oh shoot!" And
Yep. What they didn't show you almost any of is Moff Gideon or the Blacksaber.
Seriously.
Now because we talked about this before, where Giancarlo Esposito has talked about him doing like his own fight stunts and how much of a role he has in season 2. Not in the trailer at all.
Well, you can't show your entire hand before the game starts.
True.
Okay.
Is
For what it's worth, IMDb has Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano.
okay.
So if there was any lingering doubt,
Well, yeah, but see, IMDb will, okay.
true.
They have done this before where they will put in a statement that everybody knows is true, even though it's not officially been confirmed.
Replicon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough. That would seemingly confirm the hypothesis.
yeah. No, I'm 100% sure it's the case. I'm still kind of baffled as to why it's not been made official. At the beginning, is that Yavin that they're going to? I mean, you've got a beautiful Earth-like moon around a super Jovian planet. Anyway, I think you see a super Jovian, Jupiter-like planet, and then as they go over its horizon, up comes its moon, which is this gorgeous Earth-like planet, and I'm like, Yavin! But maybe not. We will apparently get to see the whatever species Yoda and the child are from, their actual home planet, and probably therefore a name. Yes? No? Or at least he's looking for it.
Forget.
All right.
Is it the same place E.T. was from?
And he just phoned home.
knows?
All right, the one thing we do have to talk about, unfortunately,
Ugh. Must we?
we must.
Must. It's our
So
job.
this is not one of the screen grabs from Gina Carano's appearance in the trailer as Cara Dune. She does appear in the trailer. It is there. And yet again, she has made an awful lot of people really pissed off with her stance isn't the right word, with her cavalier attitude about the use of pronouns. And so what happened is apparently there was some confusion, or she just said she didn't understand the idea of putting pronouns on your Twitter profiles. Pedro Pascal apparently explained it to her. She said, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, this all makes sense. I'm not going to do it, but it makes sense." And then went and put nonsense words as her pronouns: bleep, bloop,
Beep, boop, bop.
Yeah.
which caused an awful lot of consternation on the Twitters and the other places. Is it just her being really tone deaf? Do we think she really has a problem with gender identity statements in politics? I don't know where to take this one, guys.
I think she just thinks it's all a big joke.
Maybe.
I mean, that's like that might be the most base way for me to describe that, but that's the vibe I'm getting from her, because between this and the whole anti-masking sentiment, she feels like I'm getting the feeling like she feels that she say and do as she pleases.
Oop, I'm losing Byron.
Yeah, Byron, you're Byron. I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out a lot.
She is, and
I don't think you can hear us.
I'm at the point now where I'm just waiting for her to come out with. While trying, I can hear you.
Okay, well, Byron, you're cutting.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay, but you're cutting out a lot.
If you can,
And your video.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so Byron, your video has locked up. Let's move on to anybody else have a thought on why, on where she is on this?
I mean, some people are just really obtuse. Also, I saw a great quote today. I'm sorry, I can't remember who to attribute it to, that said that basically white people who live in white neighborhoods, who spend their social life with white people and go to white people events and do white people things, don't understand systemic racism. And I think it's kind of similar, of course, like people who live in whose workings are with very definitive gender roles. And especially look, we have someone who's an MMA fighter as a woman who maybe had to solidify her gender to herself as being I am a woman. I'm not excusing her. I don't like this. I'm very upset about it. I'm just saying they go into these echo chambers of a man is this and a woman is this, and they're like, I don't get it. And so they think everything else is funny, or it's not important, or it's not real, and it doesn't make it okay. It does not. The same thing with her privilege of being we can't be afraid. We have to wear we have to not wear masks. No, we have to be afraid, and we do have to wear masks.
So it's really tough to divorce one stupid thing from another stupid thing, but let's try to do that. Her stupid statement on masks is stupid.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yep.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that same person also holds a stupid position, because position A is stupid doesn't mean position B or their stupid statement about position B reflects that same sort of thinking. You know,
Right.
so I'm going to be the devil's advocate here and put forward this possible explanation. Gina Carano, as one of the most masculine female stars in any form, whether it's a sport or now her TV and movie careers, has probably, and I shouldn't say probably, I know I've read this stuff, has faced an awful lot of internet bullshit from people who are calling her a guy, or it's been happening her entire life.
Yep.
So I think it's possible that she's afraid to put a pronoun statement in like a Twitter profile, because whatever she puts, she's going to get shit. If she puts she, her, the idiots are going to come, no way, you're a dude, show us the penis. If she puts they, them, then it's the same criticizers, but they've got different ammunition to go at. Yeah, we knew all along, you're not really a woman.
Well, okay.
But let me just finish that off.
Sorry.
And so I think that, and this is, I think, a personality problem, her default stance on that is, I'm going to make a joke about it.
Correct. Okay, got it.
But that's a theory.
Okay, I'm just going to counteract that by saying, again, this is a personality thing of her and how she's reacting to it. I just want to say the same thing is happening to Megan Thee Stallion, who is a singer and a rapper. She is a badass Black woman who has muscles and body for days, and people are coming for her up on high and way down low with all this like masculine stuff, and she is just completely pro-trans and just being like, oh, I don't want to do that on the show. But anyway, it's different. Everyone's different. I get what you're saying. Rodney, completely. With sometimes when people are just beaten down and being like, you're a dude, you're a boy, you're not a woman, you're not a girl, you're not this, you're not that. You get really defensive, like your absolute womanhood because you're a fighter, number one, because you're thick, because you don't have tits, because you don't ascribe to these feminine ideals. So that means people are going to continually come for you because they're insecure and they're scared or whatever. So I would love if, Gina could get, like, if she could get people who would support her and, she could understand. But there are other women who are going through the exact same thing who are even more in the spotlight, and they're responding differently.
Yeah, like you said, everybody responds differently, and I'm not even sure that's the case. She may actually be a, closet MAGA, idiot, non-mask, anti-science, anti-climate. She might be all of them. I don't know.
That would be ironic with her being in Star Wars.
Well, that's true. All right, we're way too long. We're coming up on 90 minutes here. Greg, give us a thought to close us out here.
I'll strip it down to its most basic. Everyone can understand it. It's freaking 2020. I'm just going to lay it square at the feet of 2020. I'm not inside any of these people's heads. It could be any of the above, could be all the above. It's terrible people being terrible to other people because it's the internet.
That is absolutely true. And that is our last topic for the night. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. Great comments. Geez, we got nothing to promote. Our good buddies at GraniteCon are having their virtual event next weekend. Check it out. Go to the Facebook page for GraniteCon.
I will be hosting one of the panelists on one of the panels. about interesting cosplay stories.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Very cool.
PG-13 cosplay stories.
Yes. Probably smart. Oh, I do have something to promote. How did I forget this? Coming up this Thursday night at 8:30 Pacific time is our panel at PAX Online. I believe we're PAX 3 Discord channel. But check it. We'll be promoting that over the next couple of days. So check it out on our Facebook page and so on. On our advanced cosplay Q&A panel, the type of thing that we've done at New York Comic Con, at Rhode Island Comic Con, a bunch of different places, and it's a huge hit. We had really good questions that were submitted by the audience anonymously or otherwise, and it's really cool. Bellshare, Lucky Grim Creative, Lodan Cosplay, Colonial Armory. So if you want to hear how to do anything that came up as a topic in making cosplay, check it out. If you can stay up that late. We didn't have any choice about when they assigned us. Anyway, everybody, let's start with Byron. Let's give our goodbyes.
All right, guys. One last time, go check out Codename Blackbird.thecomicseries.com.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Greg.
Got it. And everybody, it's good to see y'all. Hopefully we'll be back with another chunk of interesting stuff to chat about next week. I got nothing else to promote either.
And go.
I talked a lot tonight, and I literally got my wrist workout in talking about it, so I feel really good about myself. Bye, guys. See you next week.
And thank you all again. Good night. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.